Okay, just going to start the webinar now. Going to share my screen with everyone. Once again, we are going to be talking about lead scoring, how it's being done right now in the industry, what are the best practices of doing lead scoring, why we should be doing machine learning based lead scoring, a small hands-on workshop, and then in the end, we're also going to be talking about ROI of lead scoring, the limitations of lead scoring. That's very important. Like, what are the scenarios or what are the cases where you should not be doing lead scoring? So we'll be touching on that one as well. And my name is Harsh. I'm currently the head of AI at Cliently. And we work with a lot of sales and marketing teams in giving them machine learning based predictions without writing a single line of code. So essentially, they don't have to do the bulk work, the manual work of doing the machine learning. We help them get the predictions on. So it's 1 p.m. my time. I'm sharing my screen. Welcome everyone. Please let me know if you can see my screen. Just going to share my screen in 1 second. Okay, perfect. Everybody can see my screen? Good. So the agenda is what is lead scoring, why it matters, a small hands-on workshop, a little bit about me. I have got background in marketing, economics, computer science. So I really understand what are the business requirements. So a lot of times data scientists do the work and it doesn't necessarily get translated into the business production. So that is where I think it's very essential. It's very important that you have a very good understanding of business. I've worked in Asia, North America, South America. My LinkedIn is harshgupta04. If you want to add me, you can add me on LinkedIn. And my email address is harsh@cliently.com. Coming to the basics, what is lead scoring? So lead scoring is nothing but a way for you to give score to all the leads. Now imagine there are thousands of leads coming into your business. Now, if you're a small business, then you don't have to worry about all that. You'll be going after every lead. But let's say you're a decent sized business, you have 50 employees in your company and you're running Google AdWords, you're running marketing campaigns on Facebook, you're running outreach campaigns, you're running cold calling campaigns, you're running adverts. There are just so many ways in which you can get leads to your business. And if you're a decent sized business, you're going to have a lot of leads. So you can't be contacting every lead, right? Let's say 3,000 leads every month, and you have a team of 4 salespeople, 4 SDR. You can't go after everybody, right? Impossible. They have very limited amount of time. So you want to be focusing on the very right people who will convert into an opportunity and eventually a sale. So you want to be predicting that, okay, out of these 3,000 leads, give me the leads which are going to be which are going to be buying our product or which are going to be good opportunities. So that is where the lead scoring comes in. The scores are given to the people, the ranks are given to the people, and then you can have a cutoff. Like, look, anytime so if you have a score 0 to 100, you say that anytime the score is above 70, I'm going to go after that lead. So that is what the lead scoring is. Now, why it matters? Limited resources, limited time, and the outreach, reaching out to the leads, not outreach, but once you have the lead come in, reaching out to them is a long process. It's not just sending out one email to them, it's sending out sequence of emails to them, it's giving them a phone call, it's reaching out to them on LinkedIn, it's reaching out to them on their personal email if possible. So there are various, nowadays I'm also hearing of concepts like, if John is in the company XYZ and he's not replying to you, so maybe you reach out to colleagues of John who are very similar in their job roles. So maybe they can help John convince his mind to buy our product. So again, a lot of research goes on. And I'm not talking about selling a small $20, $30 product. I'm selling about big enterprise B2B sales tickets, especially the big tickets. So you want to be doing a lot of research before you contact anybody, and it takes months to close a deal. In a B2B, on an average, it takes anywhere between 3 months to 6 months to close a deal. So if you start giving out junk leads to your sales teams, pretty soon they'll find out, and then there will be a fighting going on. They'll say, "I'm not able to meet my quotas because you're giving me bad leads," and then there is finger pointing. The team that collect leads is telling them, "Look, we are giving you all the leads. Why you're not able to convert? So that's your problem." Not a good practice. So today, if you ask companies, 80% of the companies, and this was from a survey from Forrester, they're using a practice called band to determine if somebody is going to buy their product or not. Now, what is band? So you have the person, they're talking to the person over the phone call, and over the phone call or over the email, they're determining that if the person has budget, authority, need, and a timeline. These four these four variables information is collected over phone call, over email, by having multiple conversations with them. But this is problematic. You can't rely on band. This is problematic. Why? Because the buying process has changed so much. Right now, if you are to buy any product right now in today's world, you're going to be looking at their webinar, you're going to be looking at their website, you're going to be reading their blogs, you're going to be downloading, you may be attending their webinar, you may be downloading their white papers, you may be looking at their social media pages, and you may be following them. So there's no one single process right now to determine the band. And often, if the sales reps are getting on the call, let's say if I'm going to buy a product and if sales rep is going to come on a call, often I may not give them a right information on budget, authority, need, and a timeline. It's too early for me to give any information to anybody. As well as buyers today have become very secretive. They're creating a lot of online digital behavior, which can indicate if somebody is going to buy or not, but they wouldn't necessarily give you out all the details. You won't have many people telling you, okay, we have a budget, we have authority, we have a need, we have a timeline. It doesn't work that way in today's world. So for lead scoring, the most important part is that you're collecting data. Without data, cannot do anything, right? No point. So companies need to consider two types of data. There is explicit and there is implicit data. So explicit data is something your prospect tells you, or otherwise which is directly identifiable. For example, if your prospect tells you, okay, I'm looking to close the deal in next 6 months, so that is explicit information. Okay, the VP of sales is the authority over these decisions, so that's explicit information. Implicit is what we also call online behavior of some person. So, for example, I downloaded a white paper. Now, that is a very good indication that I'm very interested in their product. Otherwise, why else would I download a white paper? So those can be online behaviors. If I'm visiting website every day, if I'm checking out the many pages of the website, that is called implicit data, or in simple, online behavior data. So the traditional methodology of, remember I said 80% of the companies use BANT to figure out if the lead is qualified or not. The 19% of the other companies are using something called point-based scoring. So some companies create internal ratings. For example, if somebody is watching a webinar, give them 10 points. If somebody is calling in direct to the company, give them 20 points. So based on their intuition, experience, they can give the points to the people. And they can come up with something like this, just a very small example, made up example. So they may say that, look, website, if person requested a demo, give them 17 points. If person visited careers page, do a -10 because they're the job seekers, they aren't the leads. Similarly, if they're attending event, +7 points. So as a joke, all of you who are attending my webinar, I'm giving you 7 points. Just a joke. I don't do point-based scoring. This is very popular. Salesforce Pardot scores, very popular. You'll hear that a lot if you're in sales, business development world. So a lot of companies depend on these numbers, and what Salesforce Pardot does is they, by default, they have a point-based lead scoring system. So for example, if Ravi fills out a form on the website, his score increases by 50 points. If Mary downloads a white paper, her score increases by 10 points. So they have the points automatically, scores automatically, as well as you can make the default. Let's say if Ravi fills out a form on the website, you don't like that. You don't want to give it 50 points. You want to make it 40 points. So you have that option in Paradot to make the changes in the points. Okay, so point scoring done. Now we want to be coming to predictive scoring. What is predictive or machine learning based scoring, which I truly believe is the best kind to do the lead scoring. All the other kinds of scoring are very primitive, should be avoided, shouldn't be done. So instead of defining attributes and corresponding weight factors, so instead of defining that, okay, anytime somebody clicks on a website, I give them 10 points. You're no longer defining which variables are important, and you're no longer telling them that what should be the weights on them, what should be the weight or number of points on them. Predictive lead scoring automatically does it for you. So it uses your existing sales data and machine learning. It finds out the ideal lead, and then it starts differentiating that, look, these are the variables. So these are the variables that create a good lead, and these are the variables that create a bad lead. So I need to be looking at the variables, and I need to be looking at the values which are creating a good lead. So this is what essentially predictive scoring is doing. It's kind of giving me a group or a group of leads which look very similar, and they're usually good leads. So the algorithms create a formula for automatically ranking the leads. I don't have to worry about which variable is important, how many points to give to which variable. And the model is continuously fed with the data so that it can continuously learn from it. There's the run and check process. So let's say somebody downloading a white paper, right? I create a machine learning model, and that comes out to be very important variable, downloading a white paper. 5 months from now, I'm running real-time scores, I'm running real-time modeling, and then the modeling automatically finds out, look, if somebody is downloading a white paper, it's not as important in converting into an opportunity. It doesn't play any role. So that variable gets dropped out. So that is called the run and check process. The machine learning is automatically doing it. You just need to be doing a real-time sync of your data, real-time machine learning modeling. Overview of machine learning process, have some historical data set. Then the process starts. So you have to clean the data. You have to ensure your data is consistent. You have to look at all the null values. You have to impute the missing values, etc., normalize, standardize the data. Then you have to do a lot of feature engineering. So machine learning algorithms can only understand the numeric information. So anytime, let's say I give a text variable to a machine learning, a chat column or an email, which I wrote to a lead, it's not going to understand that thing. I'll have to convert into what is the sentiment of the email, what is the subjectivity of the email, dividing it into clusters and topics, and then I can use it for the machine learning models. Similarly, date columns, they cannot be used as it is for machine learning model. I'll have to play around with them. And then, of course, I'll have to build a lot of machine learning models. Usually, tree-based models are the best. And also remember, there is class imbalance. So only 2%, 5%, 10% at best people would have converted into an opportunity. So you have 90% people or more which have not converted into an opportunity. And then you have just 5 to 10% people who have converted into an opportunity. So that's a very low number, right? And that is the target for my machine learning model. So I need to do the class imbalancing part, where I could, a very simple practice could be that you undersample. So the people who are in the majority, 90% people, you bring them to the number of people who converted into an opportunity, and then you run the machine learning model. And then later you do a calibrated classifier so that you bring down the values to the original. So after the modeling is done, you tune the parameters, hyperparameter tuning. Every model requires different hyperparameter. So think of it in a way that that if you know that you're tuning your radio and suddenly you come across a signal which is playing some good music, but you'll have to do a little bit tweaks, right? You'll have to maybe turn anti-clockwise, turn a little clockwise to come to the very right frequency. So that is what the hyperparameter tuning is. You know the best models, but you need to just play around with the properties a little bit to know the exact, like to know like this is the best hyperparameters where the model gives you the best performance. And then once you have the predictions, then you need to understand the factors behind what is leading to successful opportunities. We need to make long-term strategies that look, this is the place where I'm getting my best leads. So I'm going to be focusing on this. The short term would be score and find out the future leads who will convert immediately into opportunities, and you increase your lead conversion. Okay, so let me jump onto a hands-on workshop. I'll make it quick, a 5-6 minute workshop. Guys, can you see my screen? Sonu wrote that he can't see my screen. Can somebody say that you're able to see my screen? Okay, perfect. So I'm going to be looking at this data set. This one is called lead scoring data set. So this is an education-based company. The target is if they were converted into an opportunity or not, if they bought a product or not. And there are a lot of variables: do not call, do not email, lead source. This is a relatively simple data set. Usually you don't find such simple data set. Last notable activity, a free copy, etc., etc. Okay, so this is going to be my target variable in my machine learning model. And now I'm going to build a machine learning model on it. So I don't have the time to code. Otherwise, I would have shown you the code as well. So what I'm going to be doing is we have this no code platform by Cliently. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to be creating a report. I'm just going to be using data connection, lead scoring. So what essentially I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be cleaning the data. I'm going to be doing feature engineering, and then I'm going to be building a lot of machine learning models, do the hyperparameter tuning, and all this is going to happen in the backend. I don't have to worry about it because we have written lines and lines of code for it. So we don't have to worry about this. Now, once the process kicks off, when I say that I want to be predicting this, it's just going to do all the work for me. So I just created this report, lead scoring. There were 9,240 observations, 36 variables. I got an accuracy of 93%, which is pretty good, right? 93% of the times we are right. So now I want to be looking at which variables are important, how does changing or influencing a variable affect the things. But let's do the scoring part, and then we can come at the other part. So for example, let's look at this guy, A2F. This is his prospect number. So this guy converted into an opportunity, and we are giving him a probability of 0.627. Okay, good. This guy again converted into an opportunity, a new guy, and we're giving him a probability of 0.98. So we're giving everybody a probability of them converting into an opportunity. Pretty good, right? So now what I want to be doing is just going back to the data set. So I have the data set lead scoring. I built a model on what essentially leads into an opportunity and what doesn't. And now I have this new set of people. These are how many people? These are 3,344 people. And look at this one. For them, these are I had the target converted, if they converted into an opportunity or not. For them, I have no target converted column. These are the new people my marketing team gave me. Let's say I'm a SDR and my marketing team gave me these people to be contacted. I'm furious at them right now. I'm saying, guys, you can't give me 344 leads. I need to be fine. Can you tell me that which leads are going to be converting into an opportunity so that I contact a limited number of leads? Right now, I don't have it. So what I'm going to be doing is we call this scoring. So we are going to be uploading the new set of people, and we'll get the probabilities for them. So essentially what is happening is the machine learning is learning that what leads to a conversion, and then it applies that similar formula to this new bunch of people which just came into the CRM, which just come into the database. I don't know if they'll ever buy a product or not. I haven't made any outreach to them. But now I have probabilities for everybody. So if I go back to this, I downloaded a while ago. So remember, we had 3,344 people, exactly these number of people, and I got a probability for all. As well as I got a predicted value. If I'm just going to be copying pasting this one, just give me 1 minute. Okay, perfect. Okay, so for these 3,344 people, now if I'm a SDR or a BDR, I'm just going to be looking at these people which will convert into an opportunity. I won't be looking at zeros, which is 60% of the data set. I just want to be looking at ones. I don't want to waste my time. I only want to be looking at people who will actually convert. Now that I have predictions on, I'm going to be doing an outreach for all of them. So that is one part to it, machine learning. The other part that I want to be showing you is something interesting, and that is a long-term strategy. So I'm going to be looking at variables which are playing an important role in differentiating an opportunity, person who will convert into an opportunity, person who will not. So last notable activity is the most important variable. And remember, going back to the point-based scoring, where I was manually doing it, I was giving 50 points, 30 points. Now I don't have to do it. Machine learning is understanding that which variables are important, and it is automatically giving up points to everybody. Now that's no longer a manual process, no longer intuition based. So asymmetric activity score is second most important variable, lead origin, third most important variable. As well as I want to show you something else. Let's say lead source. Okay, give it a thought. Okay, so there are various ways that leads came into the funnel. Minus one is if somebody is not converting into opportunity, and the plus side is if somebody is converting into opportunity. So if I look at the direct traffic, whenever somebody is coming from the direct traffic, his or her chances of converting into an opportunity are lower. Whenever is somebody coming from the Google, the chances are a little higher. But if somebody is coming from the live chat, suddenly the chances of them becoming an opportunity goes up. So I will be perhaps focusing more on the live chat because that is the lead source where more conversion is happening. Similarly, if somebody is coming from reference, there is a very good chance of them converting into an opportunity. So I'll be putting a referral program in my business wherein I may come up with something like, if you refer somebody to our business, I'll give you $50, 10% off. Now, if somebody is coming from social media, suddenly the chances are so high of them converting into opportunity. So perhaps I need to double down on my social media. I need to make more posts on LinkedIn. I need to put my more efforts on Facebook group, community. I need to focus more on the social media. So one way to think of a long-term strategy. As well as I want to show you something else. And this is what you can actually, I like to play with it. So let's say this is class 1 probability. This one is the more I go on the right, the more are the chances of somebody buying our product. So let's just say I click at this very random person, row number 496. This person has a probability of 0.77. So out of 100, we are giving him 77 scores. So very good chance of converting into an opportunity, right? So now I want to see if I change his or her variables, how will the probability change? Remember 0.77 probability. So let's say if I said, so this guy lead source, this guy came from Google. But let's say if I said this guy came from reference, what would have his new probability be? So his new probability would have been 0.77. It wouldn't have changed. But let's just say lead source was direct traffic. Let's see how his probability changes. Okay, still would have been the same. So maybe for this guy it doesn't change, but whenever I change the values here, this is what I call the what if else scenario. Whenever I change the values here, the values changes. Oh, by the way, the probability changes. Remember from 0.77, 0.711. So it takes a little time because it has to run all the things in the back end. So for this guy, if this guy would have come from direct traffic instead of Google, his probability would have changed by 0.77. His probability would have gone down. So similarly, I can say that like I can play around with variables. If the total visits, so this guy visited website 7 number of times. Let's just say if this guy would have visited website 12 number of times, what would have been his new probability? Let's find out. Okay, so his probability would have gone down. Interesting. So if this guy had clicked, if this guy had visited the website more number of times, the probability would have gone down. So I can play with the what if else scenarios to see what would have happened if something like this would have taken place. So that's a long-term strategy. I like to play with it if I'm SDR, BDR. Going back to the presentation. So we're done with the model comparison, the key drivers. We're done with the scoring part, what if else scenarios. Okay, so everything looks good so far. You may say, Harsh, looks perfect. Let's do it. But then there are some limitations of predictive scoring that I want to be discussing. First of all, if you're a small company, it's not for you. If you're not collecting historical data, it's not for you. We need lots and lots of data to make the predictions. If you have, like, let's say 10 leads coming in every month, you're not collecting right amount of data. No point of doing lead scoring. It's just waste of time. Most predictive scoring systems are black boxes. Remember, the winner models were light GPM, ensemble models, and it's very hard to explain to non-technical audience. However, some of the ways I was showing you, the lead scoring, the what if else scenario, this is the way you can explain your black box models. So that gives some explanation to you. The last point is limitations, that your target market and product should be stable. If your target market is changing all the time, let's say at one point of time you're targeting realtors. 1 year from now you're targeting software as a service companies. 2 years from now, you're targeting lawyers. So if your target market is changing all the time, you trained your models on realtors, right? Then how is it going to pick up the lead scoring for the lawyers? If you build a lead scoring system for your lawyer target market, litigation target market, right? How is it going to work out effectively on software businesses? So you have to like a stable target market for this. ROI on lead scoring, very important. What is the ROI? A lot of people say, okay, if I make an investment, what is the ROI? So a lot of research has been done in this area. I want to quickly bring out a few points. Give me 30 seconds. Focusing on the right accounts and contacts can easily, and we've seen this a lot. We work with a lot of sales teams. 40% increase in productivity. That's a lot, right? Imagine you're making 100 sales a month. Now suddenly you're making 130, 140 sales a month. Your productivity has gone up. The cost of the sales reps in US is $55,000. So there's a high amount of cost, and there is so much churn happening. When you hire salespeople, there is always a lot of churn happening, like the people switching to other companies. So you want to be avoiding that. You want to be giving motivation to your sales reps. And how do you give motivation? You give them good leads. You give them good commissions. And how do you give them good commissions? If they convert into opportunities. So that is why senior reps, especially, you should be giving them higher ranked leads so that they are motivated, and their time has a lot of cost as well, right? CSO Insights data shows that sales teams who prioritize sales effort are 18%, that's a big number, more likely to achieve revenue plans, and 22% more likely to meet or beat their quotas. Such high odds of beating your quotas. And look, I've done a lot of sales. I want to be beating my quotas and sales a lot of times. In a study of 10 B2B organization, Eloqua found out that close rates increased by 30%, revenue increased by 80%, and the revenue per deal increased by 70%. Again, if you do lead scoring, you're seeing so much returns. A small table, which I have seen last 1 year working with Cliently. So if you have so just a point-based scoring, a lot of people do point-based lead scoring, and that is very primitive. Again, I keep emphasizing on that. And then there's AI-based lead scoring on my right-hand side. So let's just say your marketing team is giving you 3,000 leads a month. So point-based scoring system will probably tell you, okay, contact these 1,200 leads. The AI-based lead scoring will, for example, tell you contact 900 leads. But look at the opportunities converted. Like in point-based lead scoring, you'll be converting only 90. In this one, you'll be almost, it is how many times? Like 70, 80% times more. And why you're able to convert more? Because you're going after the right people. So So your team is more motivated. Your team has many more cadence. So that is why more opportunities. And also the leads are, so this one will have give you a lot of wrong leads, false leads, and a lot of good leads will just go away from it. So a lot of good leads which should have been there will not be here in the point-based lead scoring. In AI based lead scoring, remember we saw that 93% accuracy. So it will have a very high accuracy of giving you good leads and filtering out the bad leads. Time spent per conversion, like almost half in AI based lead scoring. So you save a lot of time. Replied email rate, again, a lot of difference, 15% versus 20%. So that is the ROI of the predictive scoring versus the point-based lead scoring. But I want to give you some idea on this thing as well. This is very important. So we saw that, okay, so there's one, so at the very starting, the thing is that you're not doing lead scoring. Okay, you don't want to do it, fine, but you're missing out. Then comes the point-based lead scoring. So that was good, but still very primitive. Then came the machine learning-based lead scoring. That is best thing. But now the problem is a lot of sales teams and the business development teams don't have the manpower to do data science, machine learning. So that's why we came up with a lot of automation in machine learning. And right now, we give sales and marketing teams, business development teams, something like this. Contact GPS roadmap, lead scoring GPS. So we tell you exactly their lead score is, what their lead score is. We tell you that, okay, and this should be the cadence that you should follow to have the maximum lead scoring numbers. So send email today at 2 p.m. This is the best course of action. Then the second cadence should be July 12th at 2 p.m. And this is all coming from the machine learning. This is not coming from my intuition. This is all coming from your data. The machine learning is picking up the good things from your data and reflecting it to you. We are just a medium to provide you these insights, these roadmaps. We call ourselves. So the routes are already there. We're just providing you the best route, the best action plan. So if you want it to be further automated, feel free to contact us. Let me share the Calendly link of our team. If you want to contact us, we'll be happy to have a discussion with you on how to do a lead scoring. This is the link of our team. So if you want to discuss with that, I would be open to any questions, comments, anything you want me to answer, anything you want me to discuss on. I'd be also happy to know that how you guys are doing lead scoring right now, or if you guys are doing it or not. And if you guys are doing point-based lead scoring, how is it working out? Is it good, bad? What's going on? Would love to know what you guys think, what you guys are doing. So with that, I'll take some sip of water. Okay, perfect. Also, guys, another thing, if you want to get, if you've never done lead scoring and if it looks too much overwhelming, and I can understand, like sales teams, business development, never done something in machine learning, may look like a daunting task, may look like, is there going to be any return on investment or not? Let me assure you, and let me actually even show you, not right now, but after, like any other time you reach out to me. Like we've seen such a drastic increase in sales productivity if you're doing lead scoring. Yes, it's overwhelming. Yes, it looks like a lot. You have to look into database. You have to do a lot of work. But let us help you. Let us get you started. Let us not get into the point-based scoring system. That's not good. If you're starting from the scratch, don't do the point-based scoring. Let us help you. Let us have a conversation. Let us see how we can help you. We'll try to make it easier for you so that you as a sales team can get to the work from day one. And you're only talking to the qualified leads, not the leads which are not worth it. So that's the thing. I highly recommend. So there's a question I got on the LinkedIn. Interesting. So the question is that how much difference is, let me read the question. Okay, so the question is, so right now we are doing Pad scores, Salesforce Pad scores, and we are very happy with it. Whatever the Pad score leads tells us, there's a 60-70% chance that these leads will convert into an opportunity. So why should we switch from Pad score to machine learning? Okay, great question. But now I want you to be, now I want you to think that, okay, so 60-70% of the times your Pad scores are right, right? And that is what I just pointed out in the presentation, that 60-70% of the times they're going to be right. But if you want to be right 95% of the times, you have to do machine learning. And also imagine that you're not doing how much you're missing out. So if it's only right 60-70% of the times, the Pad score models, sorry, the point-based scoring, if so the 40% of the times you're missing out. So either you're missing out on the people who would have converted into an opportunity and you just send them to the junk list. You're no longer even looking at them. So imagine those opportunities are lost so much. As well as a lot of leads came into your funnel through the Pad system, which says that these people will buy your product and actually they're not going to buy your product. So 20 to 30% accuracy, it's a lot. You may think that 60% of the times they're right, that's a good benchmark. But I can say that, look, why don't you want to be right 95% of the times? Why do you want to be just right 60-65% of the times? Why not go in for full? So that's why I recommend moving away from Pad. Nothing against it, but just saying machine learning is far better practice than using the Pad scores. Okay, guys, any other question else? You'll see my email. I'll be sharing the webinar recording with you, and also I'll be sharing the deck, the presentation deck, so that you can have a look. If you want to discuss anything more on lead scoring, or if you know SDRs, BDRs, sales teams, VP of sales in your company, and you think they're not doing lead scoring, I highly recommend that you have a talk with them as friends, as colleagues. Tell them how good that thing is. So with that, guys, thank you so much for attending the webinar. Looking forward to see you next Thursday, 1 p.m. my time. Thank you, guys.